everyone, welcome. My name is Julie Keys and I teach Pilates here at the Lakes. And I put together a mat Pilates class for you today where you just need your body and your mat and the willingness to take a few challenges as you feel appropriate. So for now, we're just going to start warming up our spine. I'm going to have you have your knees slightly bent, your heels slightly pressing into the mat. I want you to grab a hold of your thighs on the back right behind your knees. And just take a couple of deep breaths here. Let's all just kind of get settled into the mat practice here. So in Pilates, we inhale deep and wide into those ribs, in through your nose. And on the exhale, pursed lips, you blow through pursed lips and kind of pull that belly in. So notice how my spine is sort of changing a little bit. I'm going to inhale deep and wide into the ribs like an accordion. Exhale, scoop the belly, contract the abs, and I'm just slightly beginning to pull my belly in so much that my low back kind of rounds. And I'm going to inhale with a nice tall spine. Let's begin to add some movement here. Inhale into maybe that extension. My heart's going to reach for the ceiling. And on the exhale, pull that belly in, reach your lumbar for this mat behind you. Just easy does it. All we're doing right now is getting that spine ready to take on a little more work. Exhale, scoop that belly in, round your back. Inhale, come on up, extension. Exhale. Just do a few more of these. Lengthen the spine. Think that your vertebrae are being separated, and I don't want you to drop your neck to get your chest to the ceiling. Think more that you're reaching your collarbone for the ceiling. So it's not an Adam's apple to the ceiling, it's a chest to the ceiling, and then pull back in. Hold right here for me. Hold that C curve, keep that belly scooped. Bring your arms out long in front of you. So I'm not going to have my shoulders up. I'm going to keep my shoulders out of my ears. Shoulder blades are just kind of hugging my ribs. Inhale. Exhale, come a little bit lower. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, reach that spine a little bit lower for the mat. We're just going to feel the feels here. Inhale, exhale, come down. One more big inhale. Exhale, let's come all the way down. Reach those arms up overhead and bring them out to a T for me. Just kind of lightly pushing my palms into the mat. Draw your knees a little bit, your knees in, your heels a little bit closer. We're just going to release that low back. So you're going to inhale as you rock your knees to the left. Exhale, use your belly to bring those knees back to center. So a little spine twist here, but we're also warming up your abs. Exhale, pull back into center. So you inhale as you tip away, trying to keep the opposite shoulder blade down. It wants to lift on me. And exhale back to center. You can stay right here if this is all your body feels like doing today. If you want to take a challenge, let's go ahead and find a slight imprint in your spine. So just kind of push your back into the mat on your exhale and then draw your right leg into tabletop. Exhale, left leg into tabletop. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to inhale as I tip away to the left. Exhale, use those strong obliques and abs to come back to center. So the important thing here is, as you're moving, it's not a hi-ya, so we're not hi-ya from the back. You're doing it nice and controlled as you tip away on your inhale and exhale, pull that belly in. One more to the right on your inhale. Exhale like you're blowing out lots and lots of birthday candles on that cake, right? Inhale. Exhale back to center. Good. So from here, keep the legs in tabletop. So I still want you to kind of have a little, if you're able to keep a neutral spine here, meaning you just have the little air pocket underneath of your lumbar, bring your fingertips behind your head. Let your head be heavy in your hands. So I'm lacing them together, and I want you to think like like a melon in a basket here. So I'm kind of lifting up to my shoulder blades, and then I'm just going to come back down. I want to keep my elbows reaching for the walls, the side walls, and I'm going to exhale as I curl on up, bringing those ribs close to my hips, and then come on back down. We're just kind of taking it nice and easy here, everybody. Inhale, exhale to the tips of the shoulder blades. Maybe come a little higher each time. Maybe scoop those abs a little deeper each time you come up. Here I'm just going to hold, and I'm not pulling on my head. I'm letting my head be heavy into that basket. My shoulders are pressing into my spine. I'm going to take an inhale, and on the exhale, the whole shape of my right leg, my toes just going to dip into the pool and then come back up. These are toe dips. So I'm not bending my knee, so I'm not doing this. I'm taking that whole shape down and pulling it back up. Again, I'm trying to stay in neutral pelvis here. So I have that little, if there were a blueberry on my lumbar, underneath of that lumbar curve, I wouldn't be smashing it. If you need to take it into an imprinted spine, so in other words, if your abs are just kind of throwing in the towel, you can press your mat, you can press your back into the mat. I'm going to go 2 more like this. I'm going to come up a little bit higher because I feel like I can today. Holding here. Inhale, exhale, left leg reaches long and pull it in. You can take a break anytime. I'm going to keep these flows fairly longish so that first time you're watching this, if you feel like you want to take a little bit of a break or you don't feel like pushing pause, just take a breather. If it's your second or third time watching it, maybe you can stay with me. Curling up a little bit deeper for 4. Inhale as I bring the leg in. Exhale as I reach that limb away. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, shh. I'm going nice and slow because I like to feel the feels. Out here with that left leg long, my right leg's going to straighten too, and I'm going to switch and switch and switch. So I'm thinking, hello abs. Feeling warm and fuzzy inside by now. I'm reaching my toes away from me. Rather than just sinking lower and lift, I'm thinking that I'm lengthening my limbs away from my center line for 4. 3 more rounds. Making sure I'm not pulling on that neck. All right, let's pull the knees into the chest, drop the head down. Hug your knees, find your happy place. Just kind of rocking from side to side. Let's go ahead and bring the heels down to the mat now. Arms along at the side. We're just going to do a couple of articulations here. So rocking back and forth between an imprinted spine and an arch spine. So I'm going to inhale as my pubic bone reaches away from me, maybe my pubic bone reaching for my heels. And on the exhale, I flatten my back. Pubic bone reaches for my nose or my belly button. So if you were to put your hand underneath of your lumbar, when you're reaching away on your inhale, you have that space, and on the exhale, pushing into the fingers. My arms are going to come back to the side here. I'm going to inhale as I pelvic tilt away. Exhale, come to that imprinted spine. Just 2 more here. It's just a nice way to release that back. Exhale, bring it back in. Let's go ahead, and this time, you're going to inhale in that arch back. And on the exhale, you're going to move from imprint, pressing the spine into the mat, and then lift your tailbone, lift your lower back, lift your middle back, lift your upper back. At the top here, I'm not crunching my neck. I want you to kind of feel like your shoulders are heavy, your neck is long. There's just a slight tuck of my chin. My knees are reaching for the wall in front of me and my hip flexors are open. If you think reach the knees away, you'll feel that booty engaging even more. Let's just kind of enjoy this for a minute. Get long, find length from the shoulder to the hip to the knee, reaching away. Feeling the hamstrings engaging here. Inhale. Exhale, slowly drip that spine down to the mat like a pearl necklace. So we're working articulation still here, guys. We're still kind of warming up the spine. I'm going to try to let every bone touch when my tail hits the mat. I'm going to go back into that arch, back on my inhale. And exhale, rolling from imprinted spine, lift the booty, lift the waistband, lift your low back. I want you to still think that you are a pearl necklace and you're lifting that pearl necklace off of the mat. Again, I'm not doing this. I'm finding stillness and control everywhere. At the top, I like to find that opening of my hip flexor, so you almost feel like you're getting a hip flexor stretch here. The booty's contracting. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly drip that spine down. Try to reach every vertebrae for the mat. What I want you to take from this is that elongation, that separation of your vertebrae. We're sending blood and oxygen into those joints. One more time. So inhale, I'm taking my pelvis forward. On the exhale, I'm rocking it back, lifting the hips and sending the knees away. Think that you're reaching knees away, and that'll pull your spine up off of the mat. Inhale at the top, exhale, drip it down, nice and slow. So we all have that little chunk at the very bottom of our lumbar that's the, that does the most work for us, those lower vertebrae. So really try to separate them and reach them for the mat. Good, really quick. Draw the knees into your chest again. Straighten, stretch out that low back, wiggle your hips a little. Hands behind your knees. Once again, we're gonna roll on up here. Good, good job. I'm gonna bring my toes as wide as my mat, my heels as wide as my mat. Sitting up nice and tall here. I'm gonna bring my arms out to the side now. So still finding that lift. We wanna find, it's called like an axial elongation. So the crown of my head is reaching for the ceiling and my sits bones are nice and heavy. So I'm gonna keep the bottom half of my body still, and I'm just going to, let's have palms down here. As we inhale, let's rotate our heart to the right and then come back to center on your exhale. So inhale, I'm not just twisting, I feel like I'm getting taller, and then exhaling back to center. I like to sort of think curly whip ice cream or that barbershop sign. As I'm twisting, my spine is also reaching up. Good. Let's see, you can stay right here, or we can add on to a spine twist. So let's twist to the right here. I'm gonna take this right hand as if I had a glass of water in it, and I'm gonna tip that water out so my right pinky is reaching for the ceiling. And then my left pinky is gonna reach for my left pinky toe. And I'm gonna just stretch on forward to whatever you've got here. And then come right back up, upright the hands, back to center. We're gonna twist to the left now. Dump that water out, left pinky reaches for left toe. And don't worry about how far you get down here. The most important thing is that you just keep moving and that we're finding length. So I'm not collapsing, right? Sometimes when we try to get down, we collapse, but I want you just to find that control and find that length. But we're still kind of separating the vertebrae. Back to center. And I really have to focus on keeping my shoulders out of my ears because I have very bossy trap muscles and I'm just aware of it. You can stay right there, or sitting up nice and tall, let's rotate to the right. I'm now going to, instead of going forward, I'm going to reach for the back corner of my mat for 3, pulse for 2, pulse for 1. All the way up with control, back to center. So your hip flexors might be grabbing like mine like to. You can bend your knees just a smidge if that helps. Pulse for 3, and 2, and 1, up with control, back to the center. I'm going to inhale as I twist. Exhale, reach and pulse for 3, and 2, and 1. Back to center. Inhale, twist. One more time each side, guys. Reach, and reach, and reach. Up, back to center. One more this way. Back up. Twist and reach for 3, 2, and 1. Good, all the way up. Let those shoulders get a rest, that was good. Reach the arms in front of you and just kind of walk your body into a little stretch. Flex your feet for a little hamstring stretch here. We might as well take that while we're here. And I'm kind of sifting my low back a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and reset, coming all the way up. Let's go ahead and bring the feet in front of you now, right straight forward, and your hands are going to be pressing, maybe fingertips pushing down. You'll know where you need to be. We're going to, I better get on the mat here. We're going to sit as tall as we can. We're going to just draw that right leg in, the knee comes towards you, and then push it back out. So I notice when I do this right away, just kind of be listening to your body. So my spine wants to rock and roll. Now we're going to try to really stabilize that pelvis while we pull that right knee in and then push it out. If it's just awful for you, if it's too hard on your on your hip flexors. You can go ahead and do this with a slight roll down. I'm going to try to keep mine nice and tall. I'm going to try to do hard things today. So I'm just kind of gently pushing my fingertips into the mat. All right, I want to land. The next time I pull my right knee in, I'm going to hold it there. Good. I'm just going to hold on to that right knee. I'm going to pull back into my shin slightly, just give myself one more extension here. And then come forward. My arms are going to reach forward. And remember, I'm not doing this. I'm keeping my shoulder blades kind of reaching down for my hip pockets. I'm going to inhale, and on the exhale, I'm just going to do a little mini roll down here. And then inhale right back up. So we'll do about 5 of these, and then we'll just add on. You can always stay right at the first move of the day here. Like I say, if this is your first time watching this, maybe your first time doing mat Pilates, just kind of get used to the movements. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and move a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, maybe all the way down. Circle my arms up overhead, reach them out to my side, tuck my chin, and reach right back up, all the way up to that tall back. Let's inhale. Exhale, take it a little bit faster. Circle the arms. Reach on up, nod the chin, and curl up. I'm alternating my circles. So I'm going one way, out to the side, curling up. This time I'm going to go the other way. Out to the side this time, overhead, and reach on up. Good. Here we go. We're going to try a challenge. You can either stay right where you are, or you can take this challenge with me. I'm going to exhale, roll back, roll back, roll back, roll back. Arms reach overhead. My head is once again in my hands. So from here, I'm just going to curl forward, ribs to hips for 5. Take it down. Ribs to hips for 4. Exhale, 3. Exhale, 2. Exhale up and hold. Hold right here. This might be enough for you. Otherwise, if you can, just take that left leg, and I'm just going to lift it and lower. Lift that leg for 4. I'm still trying to work from my neutral spine. Last 2. Last 1. Take it on down. Inhale. Exhale, curl on up, ribs to hips. If you can keep that left leg hovering, go for it. If you need to keep it down, you can. Now we're going to bring the right leg up and tap it down. So there's those toe dips again. This is going to be a little bit harder. Last 3. Elbows are wide. And 2. And 1. Right toes down, left toe down. Take a big inhale. We're going to try to bring everything up at the same time. So we're going to layer it. We're going to go ahead and inhale. Exhale, curl on up as I bring that left leg into tabletop, or left leg long. And then bring my right leg up. And then lower the left leg, lower the right leg, and come on down. Let's try to do that together now. So as you inhale, prepare. Exhale, curl up and bring that whole shape up. And then take that whole shape down as you come down. Still trying to keep that neutral spine. If this is too hard on your back, then just stay in one of the first levels. We're going to go 2 more. Last one. I'm going to stay right up here, guys. I'm going to keep my elbows wide. I'm just going to lower that shape down a little and bring it up. Lower down and lift it up. This isn't easy. We're going to go for 3. Come up onto the tip of the shoulders. And 2. And 1. Hug the knees into your chest. Let your head come down. Just rock from side to side. Before we do the other side, we're going to do a quick pelvic articulation. I have rolled right off of my mat. I was having so much fun. Come right back down onto your back. Arms are going to be long at the side. This time we're going to just articulate up. So inhale into that arch back. Exhale, imprint spine and roll those hips up, 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 up. Find that lift here. Now we're just going to do some straight back, flat back down, flat back up. Let's go for 10 more. Tap the mat and open the hips at the top. You tap down and lift it up. Down, engage the glutes. Tap and lift for 5 and 4. Last 3. Again, trying to keep my neck long. 2. Hold up at the top. So we're going to do the opposite of toe dips. We're going to do a march now. So keeping your hips as high as you can, keeping your ribs knit together, your belly nice and tight. I'm going to transfer the weight to my left heel and draw my right leg into tabletop, and then float it back down and transfer to the left heel and float the left leg into table. Wow. Rights and lefts and counting, always really hard for Pilates teachers. Lifting up, reaching the hips for the ceiling, and I'm trying to do that weight transfer without rocking and rolling the hips. So you find a rhythm that works for you. Exhale as you draw the knee in and lower it back down. You breathe, you exhale on the hard part, guys, wherever you need to work. Sometimes I'll take a sniff of air and I'll exhale on every movement. Let's just go for 3. Keeping the hips lifted for 2. Good. I'm going to keep my left leg lifted now into that tabletop. I'm going to tap my bottom down and lift it up. Tap the bottom down and push into that right glute. Let's go 8 more. And 7. Tap it down and lift for 6. And 5. 4. 3. 2. Hold here if you can. If you need to tap down, go ahead. I'm going to reach my left toes for the ceiling now, so I'm pointing. I'm just going to stay holding on to that right glute. I'm going to flex that left foot and point. So just a hard flex and point for 8. And 7. Giving our belly a break. 6. 5. 4. Smiling makes it better. 3. 2. And 1. Point the toe, little lifts at the top if you've got it. 8. 7. Push from that right glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to tabletop first. Drop the foot down next and come all the way down. Oof. And give that right hamstring a quick little stretch. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm first going to pop my hips up on the exhale. I'm going to make sure I find my control. My ribs are knit. My triceps are pressing slightly into the mat. I get my hips up as high as I can, squeezing those glutes. Drawing that right leg into tabletop. Tap the hips down. And whoops, I'm sorry, wrong side. Tap the left hip down and bring it on up. Right leg in tabletop. And you lift. Lift up for 8. And 7. Lift for 6. 5. 4. My neck is nice and long. 3. 2. Hold up. Right toes reach the ceiling. Get up a little bit higher if you can. I'm going to flex that foot and point. Flex and point. 5. 4. 3, 2, and 1. Little down, little up for 8. 7. That right leg, right heel's reaching for the ceiling, squeezing nice and hard with the left glute. 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find tabletop first. Float the toes down, drop the heel, and go ahead and bring your bottom down and stretch that left leg now. All right, let's go ahead and grab a hold of the back of the thighs, or you can just roll all the way up without grabbing. And roll forward, stretch it out. Stretch out your back. Come right back up to a tall seating. We're gonna go back to the hip flexor stretches on this other side. So sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to draw my left leg in now. Left knee reaches for me. My arms are reaching forward, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale, just scoop the abs and curl it back. Inhale, back up to a tall spine. So exhale as you lower. Inhale, reach it up. 3 more. So keep those shoulder blades just floating on your rib cage. Try to keep your shoulder caps out of your ears. We don't need earrings. Here we go. We're going to go down a little more. Inhale, exhale, lower. A little lower. A little lower. And then all the way down. Circle those arms around and reach up, 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 up. Good. Exhale as you circle the opposite direction now. Lay it on down, circle it on out, and scoop your body up. 2 more. Circling the arms away from your center line and curling yourself up. Last one. Out we go. From here, I'm just going to go ahead and bring my head right into my hands. I'm going to curl up onto my shoulder blades, tips of my shoulder blades. Keep my right leg long. Just curl up and take it on down. Exhale, scoop the belly, ribs to hips for 4. 3, 2, hold here if you can. We're going to do the same thing we did the other time. So kind of find that nice belly curve and let that right leg float up and lower down. So again, I want you to think that you're reaching the toes away from you as opposed to just kind of hi-ya hoisting the leg up. Last 2. Last one. If you're able to keep that right leg long as you float the left leg into tabletop and then tap it down. If it's too much for your first time, you can keep that heel down on the mat. Keeping the ribs reaching for the hips. Last 2. Last one. Take a little rest for what's to come. So you're going to take a big inhale. Exhale. On the next exhale, you're going to curl on up and bring your right leg long, and then your left leg into tabletop, and then lower that right leg, left leg, and take it down. Now we're going to try to do it all together. So inhale, exhale, curl up and bring those legs up. Inhale, exhale, lower down. So this is one of those cases where I would inhale before the movement, exhale, bring everything up. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lower everything down with control. I think we've got 3 more to go. Exhale, pull everything in and up. Inhale, exhale, lower down. So your abs are powering the movement. Last 2. Last one. Come on up, hold. Try to keep that neutral spine if you can. If you need to imprint, go for it. I'm going to go ahead and lower that whole shape down and up. I've got 3 more for 3. Shh. Last 2. Last one. Good job, everybody. Draw your knees into your chest. Go ahead and do some, since my yoga friend is here, we'll do some yoga happy baby. Hold onto your heels. And so we're just trying to lighten, we're trying to loosen up that low back because they definitely are pick-me muscles. Even though we're not asking them to work, they'll definitely work. So take a hold of the back of your thighs again. Exhale, roll yourself all the way up. Give yourself an attaboy because you just did that. We're going to flip around now. We're going to come to our bellies on the mat. Here's where I really want you to be paying attention to what your body feels like doing today. I personally am not the extensions are always sort of uncomfortable for me, but it's a necessary movement. In Pilates, we want to try to move the spine in every position it will go. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. You guys come along if you feel like the challenge. I'm going to take my right hand and put it on top of my left. And my forehead is just going to lay gently on the right top of my hand. So I'm not collapsing, guys. I'm going to go ahead and keep my feet a little bit wider than the mat here. And my toes are reaching out. My glutes are sort of engaged because my toes are reaching away from my body. My pubic bone now is pushing into the mat slightly just to sort of anchor. And my belly button is reaching for my spine. So I'm not like collapse onto the mat. It's always ever active movement in Pilates. So let's go ahead and keep the left hand down on the mat and gently push the right hand into your forehead as you just kind of lift your upper back and take it back down. So I'm inhaling And rather than thinking that you're doing a back bend or curling your back, I want you to think instead that someone is holding the tip of your head. You're like right underneath of your neck, and they're sort of reaching your spine forward. So we're thinking that we're lengthening the spine as opposed to bending it up. You can stay right there today if that's working for you, or if you want to come along. We're just going to rotate the spine toward that bent elbow, bring it back in, and take it down. So I'm lengthening my spine, I'm rotating out to the side, bringing it in, and coming back down. You can stay right there if you want. Or if you feel like it, when you come up to the top, I'm just going to straighten that top arm like I'm reaching for my toes. I'm going to bend the elbow and take it back down. 2 more like this. If that works for you, maybe just try one. It's good to try hard things to see if we can. On this next one, as you lift up and reach that top arm, reach your bottom arm long too. It just takes it a little bit deeper. And then bend everything and come right back in. Just 2 more of these. We're just going to do 3. So pushing into the mat and reaching that top arm long at the same time. And come on in and take it down. Last one. I'm going to reach and take it down. Good. Rest that out. Shimmy your legs. I'm going to take a quick child's pose. And then come all the way forward. We have another side to do. Right? This time the right hand's on the bottom, left hand's on the top. I'm sort of sending my toes away from me. I almost call my toes my fingertips. So my toes are reaching away. My pubic bone is pushing slightly into the mat. My belly bone is lifted up. My neck is long. I'm going to go ahead and push slightly down on the right hand as my left hand lifts my head up and take it back down. So that's just to get us moving, right? That's what the move sort of fundamentally looks like, but I really want you to think as you're doing this that you're pulling, your head is reaching away from your shoulders to such an extent that it's lifting your spine long. Good, let's stay here. And then we're going to rotate out to the left now, if that's in your practice. And back to center, and take it down. So I sometimes will teach this like the tip of my head is the tip of an antenna. And I'm just sort of pulling on the tip of that antenna and lengthening my spine. Let's do one more like this. Reach it out. And if you feel like you want to take that top arm long, and bring it back in with control, rotate back and down. 2 more like that. So I'm going to lift and rotate, reach that top arm. All core today, huh? Bring it back in, down. Last one. Reach. Take a rest anytime you need to. Pause the video. Otherwise, let's go ahead and go for that bottom arm reaching now too. So we're going to inhale. As we come up, reach both arms and come back in and take it down. So straightening the right elbow as the left arm lengthens and back in. Last one. Thank goodness. And out. And bring it in. Good, everybody. Let's take that child's pose. It's really important to work that posterior chain. Very good for your posture. So I'm sitting back into between my heels and I'm just kind of wiggling my hips a little back and forth. That's a necessary movement for me because of my mild lordosis and some other issues that I have. It just feels good to me. So I'm going to come into a quadruped position now. We're going to work our upper body for a little bit. So we've worked the core, we've worked a little bit of legs. I want to come onto hands and knees here. So the thing about when we're with the arm work that we're doing today is going to call for a lot of wrist work. So just take a shake whenever you need to. You can also wrap a towel underneath of your, like a little tripod we call it, or if your mat isn't super thick, you can roll your mat over, and that just kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of your wrists. But do remember that we want strong wrists too, so sometimes it's just that the wrists are weak and we need to strengthen them. Take as many breaks as you need to. I'm going to sort of move through the flow so I can show you all of these exercises, but you just pause that video anytime your wrist needs a break. So I'm going to find my quadruped position. And I think for the first time, you'll see me kind of moving my toes around. It's wherever you find the most stability in your feet here. And I have a lot of lordosis, so I just sort of have to tuck my tail under slightly. So my belly is pulled in, my ribs are knit together. Well, to begin with, we're just going to step the right hand forward and bring it back, and then step the left hand forward. So let's just kind of move through this and listen to how your body's responding to this. The cool thing about classes like Pilates and yoga is it's a mind-body connection. So we're not just hurrying through things. I like to say it's not just Haya moves, but it's very controlled. Let's go ahead and reach the right hand forward and keep it there. And then I just want you to think about dropping that right elbow to the mat and then pushing it back up and coming back in. So now the left hand's going to reach forward. I'm going to drop that left elbow and come back up. So since my hips are flexed, most of the weight is still in my hips for this. And that may be where you want to stay today. This might be enough arm work for you. So I'm still feeling my shoulders are working. I'm feeling my biceps and triceps working to stabilize. We'll do about 3 more, guys. Down and up. Last 2. Lower that heel or lower that elbow and bring it back up. Last one. Good, and just to rest the wrist, just shake your wrists off. You can stay right there for all 3 rounds. I'm going to give some different options here. If that's enough for you, just stay there today. If you want to come along, we're going to go ahead and move the hips into an extension, which will put a little more weight onto the upper body. So I start out in this quadruped position, but this time, as I step my right hand forward, I'm going to sort of extend my hips, or you might maybe say drop those hips and come back up. So it's a little more dynamic. I'm going to step forward, drop those hips down, and feel how you're getting some great articulation in the wrists. Fingertips are getting a nice little stretch. All right, let's go ahead and add that elbow tap now. So I'm going to step right, hips come forward right. Let's see, can you bring your elbow all the way down? Valeria, you probably can. And back up. Yep, and then I'm going to lunge, say lunge, hips forward. I'm going to drop that left elbow and come back up. So I cheated a little bit there. I kind of did a half forward. So let's take it slow and find that hip flex or hip extension. Whoa, I feel it. And bring it back. Let's feel the feels. I'm going to extend my hips. I'm going to drop that left elbow to the mat and bring it up. Just 1 more each side, guys. Dynamic. We have to make sure that the upper body gets a nice little workout too. And up. Take a quick little stretch here. Sit back into those hips. Shimmy everything out. All right, so let's try this. Let's come forward. Let's play, shall we? Let's come forward into our little bit of a plank. Thank you for that. So my hips are extended. I'm just going to step out, out, in, out, out, in. If you feel like you want to go in, out, in. That way you're not fully in that plank. Or you can stay right with me here. We're going to do 4 more. So my hips are open, in. I'm going to try to lead with a different hand each time. Last time here. Good. Let's go ahead and come forward with those hands. Let's come down into a push-up and push back into our hips. So we're going to sort of do this, I guess, sort of like a leap or a lunge, push up and bring it back in. So I'm reaching my elbows wide to the walls, out to the side, leaning back. We'll do 2 more wide push-ups. The last one. Good, and just sit back here for a second, stretch that out. Now I want to go ahead and do the same thing, except this time my fingertips are going to be facing forward. I'm going to, I can't remember what this is called. It's not a lunge. I'm going to reach forward, slide my hands between my body, between those narrow elbows, push it up, and take it back. Reach forward, bend the elbows, and come back. 2 more like this. Working triceps, working shoulders. You can stay right here if you want, or you can come back onto your heels, come all the way up, reach those elbows behind you, sit back into the heels, and sort of fall back into that push-up. So it's sort of like a push off, lift, sit back, crouching tiger, that's what I was looking for. I know, I'm like, it's not a lunge, it's a crouch, so so it's just like that crouching tiger. And so this takes a little bit of, practice. Get this off my microphone. Hopefully you can still hear me for 3, and 2, and 1. And not done now. So stay up nice and tall for me. I want you to reach your fingertips forward. We call these squats. So you're just going to kind of lower yourself down with controlled quadriceps and pop back up. Control it down and pop it back up. Maybe we want to go ahead and bring the arms behind and then reach them forward. Let's go for 8. And 7. I'm still smiling, are you? 6. And 5. So at the top, I'm really sort of opening those hip flexors, engaging those glutes. 2. 1, but not done. Come all the way up. Reach the arms forward if you can. If you've been taking classes with me, we've been kind of moving into these toward the end of the season. I'm just going to lean back and come on up. Come along if you can. Maybe it's not a giant thing. I'm not trying to get super far. I'm just feeling that hamstring or that quadricep engagement. You can stay right there, or as you're leaning back, take that right arm and reach for the back of your mat and coming up. And we switch, sweep, whoo, switch and sweep. Last 4. You're going to feel this tomorrow. 3, 2, and 1. Good, come down. Take a little stretch, bring your hands behind you, and just kind of hips up. You can drop your head this time. And come on forward. So we're going to fix our microphone. Hoping you can still hear me, or you heard me through that. So it looks like this from the back if you can't see it. I'm just going to pull those toes in toward my hips and stretch out that quadricep. Take whatever you need here. And slowly release, gently release. Pull both knees together. Come back to that arms in a T. And I'm going to twist over to the other side now. So I'm going to spine twist this way. My top leg is going to reach. My top arm is going to circle around and grab for those toes, whatever you have. I'm stretching here, stretching my low back, kind of curling the body forward. And then out, circle out around. Just one more like this. And then we're going to do that quadricep stretch. Circle the arm up, around, over, grab the toes, curl your body forward, nose to knees maybe. And then with control, circle around. I'm looking at my back arm. I'm trying to find that bottom foot. It's not super pretty always, but it sure does feel good. I'm going to pull onto those toes and stretch that quadricep. And again, take whatever you can here. If it's too much work to have that top leg straight, you can bend the knee and just stretch. Good, everybody. Awesome job. On Loose everything. Bring your feet right back underneath of your hips and curl yourself up. Stretch your legs on and give yourself an attaboy. Here is to your very good health. Great job working your body today. We can't wait to see you next season. Have a good summer.